Hey guys, my name is Charlie, and this is my wife Paige, and our journey together started just a little over 6 years ago.
We've been married for almost 5 years now, and we have 2 kids, Harrison and Willow. But over the last few weeks, we've really just paused and have been reflecting on the early days of our relationship.
It's wild to think back on it now, but the life that we're living today doesn't quite match the life that we had when it all began. When Paige and I first started dating, I was running my own business and she was working nights. And independently, we were on our own path of pursuing dreams and personal ambitions that we held. But after our first couple dates, we both knew that this was different. So we looked at each other and we committed that we wanted everything in our relationship to be about one thing and one word, and that was intentionality.
You see, we made a commitment to each other that in everything that we were going to be doing, we were going to be intentional. Intentional about how we lived, how we communicated, and how we worked together, the goals that we pursued.
Which ultimately made things pretty difficult when after about only 5 or 6 weeks of dating, I told Paige that I had been accepted into a fellowship with a global missions organization, meaning that I would now be spending my time between Tennessee and Florida.
Somehow in that moment, while I didn't quite understand why, I really felt this peace that this was the best thing for Charlie to pursue. Over the next several months, we just made it work. As he flew back and forth, I had to adjust my schedule so that when he was in town, we'd get to spend the maximum amount of days together. We'd plan little weekend trips out of Nashville where we could just spend more time with each other.
We made a list of all the places that we wanted to travel and visit together. And it's kind of funny looking back now because I was never really the outdoorsy type before I met Paige. But a lot of those trips ended up revolving around us taking some kind of outdoor immersion into nature. But one of those destinations was Colorado.
That's right.
We thought it'd be cool to see the leaves changing in the Rocky Mountains. So on a whim, we planned a trip out there in the fall of 2018.
It was September of that year, and we met out there in Denver and enjoyed a beautiful weekend of breathtaking views. Charlie had created this entire itinerary for us, and each and every day was planned out to the T. We were zigzagging all across Colorado, and it was gonna be amazing. While we were in the early stages of talking about engagement, it wasn't quite on my radar yet, as we'd just been dating for 5 months at the time?
Yeah, the itinerary was all true except for our second to last day there. I told her we were gonna go hike a 14er, but neither of us were prepared for that. And instead that morning we drove up to Brainerd Lake just outside of Estes Park, and after a morning Bible study together, I proposed.
When we got home newly engaged, we knew that this meant an entirely new level of intentionality for our relationship. We set aside a month to intentionally seek God in prayer and to see what He had for us, for our marriage, and for our future family. We wanted to know, what did God want for us to be as the Brooks? It's crazy to look back on that time now and to really see that within a day of each other, we had both written in our journals that we felt God was calling us to do ministry as a family.
You know, it took us a couple more months to really understand to what extent and to what degree God was calling us, but we knew without a doubt that ministry was going to be the center of our marriage and our family.
While we were super excited about this newfound calling and living off of all of that excitement of being newlyweds, things only got better. We found out not long after that I was pregnant.
As soon-to-be parents, we were elated. We both had this desire to have children and to grow a family.
Then at only 30 weeks, I was admitted to the hospital where I had to spend a month on bed rest. And then at 34 and 1, 6 weeks early, Harrison was born. He spent a long time, 52 days in the NICU. And unfortunately, on February 9th, 2021, at just 72 days old, Harrison passed away from a rare genetic condition. As a newly married couple, we were faced with our biggest challenge yet.
The next several months, in a lot of ways, still seemed like a blur. We were grieving, we were withdrawn, we were hurt, we were angry. We were no longer ourselves, at least not the version of the couple that said "I do" just 16 months earlier.
As we fought through that season, we learned how to really lean on each other. We learned how, in a moment, you can go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. Unfortunately, in a time when we could have easily pulled away from God, we had each other to help draw us closer to Him.
You know, looking back, and we say it all the time, but we're thankful for the people that God had placed around us. While it took us some time to engage again, we would not be standing here today had it not been for the community that supported us, for the people that rallied around us, encouraged us, and gave us really a true sense of belonging in that season.
What we experienced was a community where we could belong just as we were, broken, hurt, angry. But as we spent more time with those people, what we realized is that we were able to start working through things, and eventually we were able to overcome the past that was keeping us from moving forward.
Overcoming the pain of the past is difficult, but what we found is that it was necessary. If we were going to actually pursue the calling of ministry that we felt was given to us by God, we were going to have to overcome the pain, overcome the sadness, the hurt, and all the things that just come with living life.
Through the process of building deeper relationships and sharing life with our community, we healed and we slowly overcame the past. It was only then that we began to live a life again filled with all of that joy. Our mantra that was born walking out of that season of grief was, "Joy's a choice."
While we can't control what will be thrown at us in this life, we can control our response. We believe the response we have will directly determine the level of joy we experience. But even more than that, your response, it will determine whether you ever get the opportunity to truly walk in your purpose.
It's been said before, but we're all created on purpose for a purpose. We've been able to see glimmers of what it's like for us to walk in our purpose. As we've resourced families through our Harry J Foundation, we've worked together leading young adults and outreach efforts at our church and leading small groups. It's all just been a precursor of walking in the calling that God has for us.
The opportunities that we've had to play just a small part in helping other people discover what their purpose is has been fulfilling. Fulfilling like no other endeavor or venture ever has. And to see firsthand as people have taken steps closer to Jesus has truly been the greatest reward yet.
But even with all that we've seen and experienced, we really feel that we're just getting started, and an even more exciting chapter is ahead of us.
Our next chapter will be marked by a step of complete surrender and total obedience. But we know we have no other option but to say yes. So later this summer, we're leaving behind all that we know to start a brand new church in Boulder County, Colorado.
Located in the shadows of the Rocky Mountains, Boulder County has become synonymous with innovation and ingenuity. It's an industry leader in the areas of aerospace, tech, and research, making it one of the most influential counties in the world.
We've fallen in love with Boulder County and truly believe that its best days are right in front of us. We see a church thriving in the middle of all of the innovation, a church that's known for its intimacy with Jesus and a love for Boulder County, a church that makes disciples that live on mission in such a way that the whole neighborhood notices.
Bold Church exists to show Boulder County that following Jesus is not about rules to keep, but a relationship to pursue. As we help people connect to God, they'll be able to overcome their past, allowing them to experience a life of joy while discovering their purpose to make a difference.
While we're excited about this next chapter, we know that we can't do this alone. So we want to invite you to join us. There's 3 ways that you can partner with us. You can pray for our move and for the launch. You can give. We need folks that are going to come alongside and invest in our mission to launch Bold Church in Boulder County. And finally, go. If you or someone you know is in Boulder County, Colorado, or God is calling you there, we would love to meet with you. Come help us make Bold Church a reality.